Hey everyone, and welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's explainer. I want you to imagine just for a second that the single biggest, most intense battle of your entire life isn't actually happening out there in the real world. It's not a fight with your boss, it's not the economy, and it's not your daily circumstances. It is happening entirely inside of you, totally quietly, every single day. Today, we are taking an amazing deep dive into the core philosophy of Zoe McKee's brilliant book, The Disciplined Mind. We're going to figure out exactly how to take control of that inner narrative, how to finally stop getting swept away by endless distractions, and how to build a mental resilience that is basically unbeatable. Okay, let's dive right in.
So we have to start with a question that has honestly baffled humanity for centuries. Why on earth do we know exactly what we need to do, and yet we just don't do it? I mean, we know we should exercise. We know we need to finish that big project. We know we should get up early. Think about that totally relatable struggle every single morning when your alarm clock goes off. Your mind instantly splits into two, right? One voice is shouting, "Get up, you've got massive goals today." But then there's that other, much quieter voice, just whispering, "Come on, just 5 more minutes, it's fine." Choosing whether to hit snooze or throw off the covers is literally the ultimate silent battlefield in our minds. It feels like this tiny, insignificant moment, but it genuinely defines everything else.
All right, that brings us to section 1, the silent battle inside your mind. Let's understand this daily struggle.
Now, the very first thing you need to know about this daily tug of war, and honestly, I find this incredibly empowering, is that this internal friction, it is not a character flaw. If you struggle with procrastination, you are not lazy and you're definitely not broken. What's actually happening is a biological clash. You essentially have two completely distinct operating systems in your brain, and they are constantly wrestling for the steering wheel of your life. On one side, you've got the fast, emotional brain. This guy basically acts like a toddler on a sugar rush. It naturally seeks out the absolute easiest evolutionary path just to save energy. It wants comfort, it wants rewards, and it wants them right this exact second. But on the other side, we have the slow, logical brain. This is the part of you that actually cares about your long-term goals, your health, and your future success. The real problem here is that the emotional brain is just lightning fast. When you see your phone sitting there, it instantly screams, "Check it." Your logical brain tries to step in and warn you about losing focus, but that warning almost always arrives just a second too late.
So how in the world do we fix this? Well, the answer is mental discipline. The book defines this as the ability to observe your thoughts and act as the true leader of your mind, instead of just blindly reacting to whatever random impulse pops up. And there's this really vivid metaphor from the source material that I absolutely love for this. Imagine you are standing right on the side of a super busy highway just watching all the cars zoom past. Your thoughts are exactly like those passing vehicles. Just because a car drives by doesn't mean you have to run out and jump into the passenger seat. You can literally just stand there and watch the thought of "I want to quit" drive right past you without ever acting on it.
And that leads us to a seriously paradigm-shifting concept. Thoughts are not commands, they are just suggestions. I want you to really let that sink in for a second. When your brain tells you, "Hey, I don't really feel like doing this right now," that is not a legal mandate. It's not a hard rule you have to follow. It's literally just a passing suggestion from a brain that is trying its hardest to conserve calories. The second you realize that the urge to procrastinate is just an optional suggestion, one that you can actively choose to ignore, you instantly take all your power back.
Moving on to section 2, why we resist what's good for us, and the illusion of motivation.
A lot of us fall into this huge trap where we're basically waiting for the stars to perfectly align before we start something difficult. We convince ourselves that we need to feel fully ready or completely energized or suddenly zapped by a bolt of inspiration before we can do the hard work. But listen, this is a massive illusion. It's the exact thing keeping millions of people stuck in the exact same place year after year. Relying on motivation means you're just waiting for the right mood to strike. But human emotions are completely fickle. They change based on what you ate for breakfast, how well you slept, or even what the weather is like outside. Truly disciplined individuals take the exact opposite approach. They rely on action. They know that the sheer act of starting is actually what generates the motivation. It's like building a fire. You don't wait for the flames to magically appear before you throw the wood in, right? You strike the match through taking action, and the fire follows.
So the crucial thing here is to understand the actual timeline of how your brain operates when you finally sit down to do something tough. At minute 1, heavy mental resistance. Your brain is practically screaming at you to go check social media or, organize your desk drawer. It's brutal. But if you just push through that, by minute 10, your brain actually begins to adapt. The friction drops way down. And then, by minute 30, you are entering a state of deep focus. The hardest part of literally any task isn't the work itself. It is simply surviving those first few minutes of friction.
So I really want you to anchor this powerful maxim into your mind.
Action first, mood comes later. If you're absolutely dreading a massive project, don't think about finishing the whole thing. Don't even think about working on it for an hour. Just commit to starting for exactly 5 minutes. Tell yourself, hey, I can quit after 5 minutes if I still really want to. By bypassing all that initial dread and just forcing the start, you will find that your mood almost always catches up, and you'll end up keeping the momentum going. Which brings us to Section 3, the power of small mental habits. This is all about consistency over intensity.
We live in this culture that completely worships the idea of an overnight success, the massive leap, the extreme 30-day transformation. But here's the thing, biological reality just does not work that way. True success and real mental discipline aren't born from one giant, exhausting, heroic effort. They are built through a series of tiny, repeated, almost invisible mental choices that you make day after day after day. Progress is a lot like a seed. It grows these massive, invisible roots underground long before a little green sprout ever breaks the surface. When you first start forcing yourself to focus, or you start waking up a bit earlier, you're not going to see results on day 1. You probably won't see them on day 20 either. It's going to feel like absolutely nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, your brain is quietly, busily building these deep, incredibly strong neural pathways. The roots are growing. You just have to trust the process until it finally breaks the surface.
All right, Section 4, distraction. This is the hidden enemy of focus, and honestly, the modern curse.
We are all dealing with this modern curse of distraction. In today's hyper-connected world, the greatest enemy of your mental discipline isn't actually pure laziness. It's the constant, totally unrelenting barrage of digital distractions and notifications that are literally engineered by brilliant people to fracture your deep work and drain your mental energy. And it's not just about losing 10 seconds here and there to check a text message. It's the habitual context switching. Did you know it takes your brain an average of 23 minutes just to fully recover its previous level of focus after a single interruption? That is wild. We all know that sheer low-level panic of an unread notification just sitting there on our screens. Every single time your phone buzzes, it's a massive drain on your mental energy battery. If you're interrupted 10 times in an hour, you are never actually doing deep work. You are just trapped in this shallow, quick response mode, and you end up feeling completely exhausted at the end of the day despite having achieved very, very little. So let's talk about how to fix that. Section 5. How to build a discipline system by designing your environment. Here is a massive secret from the book that changes everything. Relying purely on willpower is a losing game. Willpower is exactly like a battery. It totally depletes as the day goes on. The actual true key to unstoppable discipline is environment design. It's about creating spaces around yourself that make doing the right thing the absolute easiest and most natural option available. Rule number 1. Keep your phone in a completely different room while you are working. Literally, out of sight, out of mind. Rule number 2. Designate strict, deep work hours where you are entirely unreachable to the outside world. Rule number 3. Organize your physical workspace so it sends a clear signal to your brain that it is time to execute. And rule number 4, and please do not skip this one because it's vital, schedule conscious, guilt-free rest. Real, intentional rest is a crucial component of a disciplined system, whereas procrastination is really just stressful, guilt-ridden escapism.
Now look, we are human. You absolutely will slip up. You're going to have days where you just waste time. When that happens, you need to follow these steps to bounce back quickly. First, acknowledge the slip-up without brutal self-punishment. Do not adopt a lazy identity just because you had an off day. Second, refocus entirely on the daily process, not on the overwhelming grand goal. Third, take just one small corrective action right now. I mean it. Read just one page. Write one single sentence. Just do something. And fourth, gracefully resume your normal system tomorrow. Discipline is never about being perfect. It's entirely about how quickly you can get yourself back on track.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a question ringing in your ears to think about. What is the one small decision you can make today to get closer to the life you want? I'm not talking about a massive life overhaul here, not some monumental, earth-shattering shift, just one small, very tangible decision that you can execute the exact moment this deep dive ends. Remember, your life is shaped by the thoughts that you allow to lead you. Take the wheel, make that one small decision today, and just watch as those tiny actions build an unbreakable, fiercely disciplined mind. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.